Hello, I'm Rebecca Wallace. I'm a professor of international law, and I'm also a primary author on the module that we're looking at today, namely the European Convention on Human Rights. The module is set out in 4 sections. Initially, here's a brief introduction as to what will be contained and what you will encounter in the module. Section A is very much placing the Convention within its historical and political framework, painting the landscape against which the Convention was conceived, and it's important too to remember that the Convention is a living instrument and is still evolving today. The Section A, as I say, looks at the historical and political framework and then considers the relationship of the Convention to the domestic legal systems of the contracting states, the member states that make up the Council of Europe, which was responsible for developing the Convention on Human Rights. Then we look at, in Section A, the concepts that have been developed from a European perspective, namely the margin of appreciation, the amount of discretion that member states enjoy, because although they are a fairly homogeneous grouping of states, there may be a difference in what may be accepted in certain countries as opposed to others. But even if there is a difference, that always has to be discharged under a European supervision. In Section B, we then move to more what could be termed the nuts and bolts, looking at the various organs that make up the structure of the European Convention and are responsible for applying the European Convention. We look at who has standing before the court. Can a state bring a case? Can an individual bring a case? We look too at the effect of a judgment. Who is responsible for overseeing that there is compliance with the judgment, and what may be got from the judgment. We explain terms such as just satisfaction. And then in C and D, we really get into what the Convention is about, the substantive rights of the Convention, namely the rights of the right to life, the right to freedom from torture, the right of liberty and the right to not be subject to servitude, which of course has gained a new dimension in today's contemporary world as we encounter human trafficking. We also look at the right to a fair trial. And then we move to the right to private and family life, the right to freedom of expression, the right to freedom of conscience, the right to religion, and the right of freedom of assembly. The Convention sets these rights and freedoms out in basic terms. Some are unequivocal, some are to which no exception can be made. There are absolute rights. The most notable, of course, is the right not to be tortured. But then there are other rights which we say are qualified rights. They may be restricted, such as Article 8, which may be restricted because of the right to have immigration control. So these are discussed in some detail, because what has happened is that the court has developed the rights and freedoms through its jurisprudence. And as I say, that jurisprudence is still evolving today, and very much that the European Convention is seen as a living instrument. These are in outline, the 4 sections that will be looked at or covered in this module. And all I can say is just enjoy your studies and best wishes with your studies.